Future Oil Painter says.
Bus for
Yo
chair.
Luth.
Yo. What's up, man?
Future Oil Painter says. I hit a meeting with the boss man in a bit.
Cool, man. Well, I'm just glad you're here. It's good having you.
Shuri Kitten says.
Shadimiya.
YouTube chat TDS not working.
Oh, thanks. I always have to manually start that, and sometimes I forget, and sometimes it's kind of buggy when I do it for some reason. There we go. That should work now. Let me bring this around so y'all can actually see a little bit more.
Shuri
Maybe here.
Kitten says. Test test.
Test, test. You should get it now, right? Something like that.
Shuri Kitten says.
Good.
There.
There you go. Thank you, Shadimiya.
Shuri Kitten says. As I was saying. My teacher, I have inspired you.
You said you have inspired me. Everybody inspires me. 1 second. Let me pull chat up on my phone. Not all of it goes to OBS for some reason. Shadimiya, I think I figured
Shuri
out.
Kitten says.
Um,
With the Draenei LOL.
Oh, the drawing. Oh, yeah. Well, what's funny about that, I had already looked this stuff up, and then I went into like you posted a Draenei, and I had already started generating images because I was thinking that I want to maybe do my character, and so I'm gonna start with a nude with it. Hopefully, we don't get in trouble with this. We won't. Been doing nudes for a while. But yeah,
Shuri Kitten
you
says.
kind of locked it in for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So, I mean, obviously this is AI generated because how else am I going to do this? Um, yeah, I suppose I could make a lot of the stuff up, but I mean, this works. And my thing right now is I'm just like, I just want to have something to draw to practice.
Windy
That's
City
really my main thing right now.
1828
Windy
says.
City!
Hello.
Hello, Windy City.
Windy City 1828 says. Shuri.
Cherie.
Shuri Kitten says. I miss WoW, so I'm drawing it. I was talking to someone earlier that got commissioned to do some of the art for WoW. He's cool.
Nice, man.
Shuri
Nice.
Kitten says. Hi Windy City.
Cherie
I made
meal.
sure the chat works for you LOL.
Yeah, Windy City, Shirimi is always watching out for you and pretty much everybody else in here while destroying her enemies. Shirimi, why don't you play Warcraft if you miss it so much? I'll play with you. On the weekends, like
Windy City
I've just been
1828
running
says.
Battlegrounds by myself.
Thanks Shuri, you doing a good job.
Like I could use somebody to play with, you know?
Shuri Kitten says. You're welcome LOL. Future Oil Painter says. You wanna play with what? LOL. Shuri Kitten says. I'm thinking of doing TBC. Sick may also want to, but at the same time doesn't want to get sucked in. I'm trying to find out if they are keeping TBC or moving it to Wrath or what.
I
Future
don't
Oil
know.
Painter says. What did I just walk into? Shurikitten says. I didn't like how Wrath got pushed to Kata.
I don't think anybody did. That was such a stupid thing to do. They're just trying to milk the players for as much as they can, but that was just they're just so, they used to be connected with their base and they're not anymore. That's just how it is. Um, so BlizzCon is in September. So that's probably when we'll learn like you'll get more of a clear idea of what there is to do, right? So like people keep on talking about um, like Classic Plus. So because I don't know what they're doing with Classic, honestly. I mean, Zerx and I were like kind of talking about doing Classic characters
Shurikitten says.
just to have them.
What is that?
Classic Plus is like, well, it's more of the player base, like what they want and what they talk about so much and what Blizzard teases. And so nobody really knows exactly what it is, but it would essentially be something like classic game, but like with more content and a little bit more structure and abilities and stuff. So I guess same format and setup, but like almost as if they were just developing the game back then a little bit. Like they add onto it and put new content into it. Um, uh, like other servers, there was like Turtle WoW. That server was like, they kept up with content. Like the devs there
Sheer
were
Curry
very
says.
active with everybody.
Hello, hello.
Curry, what's up? And so they really paid attention to their player base, kind of like how Blizzard used to be. They got shut down um, by Blizzard, but that's like an example of how it could be. But nobody knows what it is, so everybody's expecting it to be announced in September. I don't know. I am extremely cynical and have
Sheer
zero
Curry
faith
says.
that they will do
That's a whole
anything,
lot of woman.
anything right. Anything right. It is. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I'm just saying they'll announce what they'll be working on within like in what's coming out within the next year or so, the roadmap. And so everybody's expecting this to be a big one. And it might be. Look, I want it to be. It's just they always screw things up and they're so disconnected from their player base. It's just frustrating at this point. To draw a Draenei, I really need to get my life together.
Sheer Curry says. If you have a car, your life is together in my book.
Oh, your bar is so low. So low. I mean, I guess there's some truth to that though, right? I guess there is.
Shurikitten says. Fuck, I don't have a car, lol. Sheer
Sure.
Curry says. My bar is so low yet I don't fulfill that bar. Shurikitten says. Curry no lol. Sheer Curry says. Cherie, welcome to the loser club. Sheer Curry says. Cherie. Cherie Kitten says. Mine is for medical reasons. I'm a medical loser, lol. Sheer Curry says. I'm kidding, you have a man that counts as a car. Sheer Curry says. You can ride him.
Ah, yes. Here it goes. Here it goes.
Cherie Kitten says. He's a whole bus. Sheer Curry says.
He's a big guy.
Get it?
She gets it. And
Cherie
she's
Kitten
been waiting
says.
for that opening to
Oh, I
probably
do.
see? And she's waying. She's like, okay, how can I turn this
Sheer
into
Curry
education
says.
time for Curry?
She can ride him like for sex.
She keeps on going and like explaining this. Yeah. And I just want to point out, among the 5 people here, probably what, 2, that this is the women in the chat.
Cherie Kitten says.
It's not the
Like
men.
for sex, lol. Humdinger 8361 says.
Dinger.
XXL.
What's up, man?
Sheer Curry says. Sex is something a man and woman do, or sometimes 2 men.
I want to hear 2 men.
Cherie Kitten says. Sometimes 3 men. Sheer Curry says. Or 2 theys. Sheer Curry says. Oh yes, 3 or more. Sheer Curry says. I forgot. Cherie Kitten says. Curry, are you horny?
She always is.
Sheer Curry says. No.
Yes, that means yes. Curry, you're playing with fire and you know it. You know it. Stupid.
Sheer Curry says. I like to walk on the wild side, everybody knows this about me. Cherie Kitten says. Don't be ashamed. Louis is very accommodating of the horny. Sheer Curry says. No, he is not. He's still wearing pants.
How do you know? You don't know that. You don't know that.
Cherie Kitten says. Show knees. Sheer Curry says. Damn, you're right. Future Oil Painter says. Okay people, I have to go get ready for a work thing.
All right, man. Be smart. Be smart.
Future Oil Painter says.
Don't do anything stupid.
Behave yourselves. Sheer Curry says. Just quit like a real loser artist. Shrikitten says. Have fun. Future Oil Painter says. It's tempting, but then I'd be living in a cardboard box.
It
Share
sucks how that
Curry
works, huh?
says. That could be fun.
Okay.
Shrikitten says. Curry, what are your men like there? Share Curry says. Boring. Inseparablepith Zhugsika says. Best promotion on streambook. Org. Share Curry says. Square. Windy City 1828 says. Lewis, when will your swampy artwork be completed, you think? Shrikitten says.
Probably a month.
Aren't
hopefully.
they blonde?
I need to.
Share Curry says.
I'm gonna go back into it next week.
We have all hair colors.
Windy City.
Share Curry says. A month. That's fast.
It is fast, but I think I can do it, and if not, I don't. But I think I can get it done then.
Shrikitten says. Have you dated anyone, Curry? Share Curry says. Have you?
Let me answer your question with a question of my own.
Share Curry says. Lewis, help.
No, I'm enjoying this. I need this right now. You're on your own. Help me. Help.
Shrikitten
Why
says.
am I doing this?
LOL. Share Curry says. You're mean, help a dimwit friend. Shrikitten says. Oh, are you guys dating? Share Curry says. Are you guys?
You just. I like this strategy. It's a good strategy. Look, y'all just keep on entertaining me, okay? I really want to get this thing going. I'm drawing because I need to practice right now. That's one of the
Windy
things I'm
City
lacking in my work.
1828 says. Lewis is your name, Lewis or Lewith?
It's Lewis. Lewith. It's Lewis. Lewith. You know that.
Sheer Curry says. It's Lulu. Windy City 1828 says. Oh, apologies.
You know, it doesn't matter. Lewith. It's not really correct anatomy, but can make this work. Just like that, and then it comes in. Right.
Sheer Curry says. Are you gonna paint her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Shurikitten says.
My goal is just to get
You
practice
shouldn't be
drawing.
ashamed of dating Lewith. He can get to a good PvP ranking. That's honorable. Good quality in a man.
I always lead with that in my dates. My thousands of dates that I go on multiple times, sometimes at once. I present my PvP rating, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, she's so hot." I'm like, "I know," and it works every time. Didn't think about this chat, did I? It was right there. Boom! Look at that. How do you get the background behind it? Whatever. Too hard. Can't do it. Wonder if you can with this. Here in a second. I've tried this before. TTS. Wait a second. TTS, TTS.
Shurikitten says. The next question they would have is why is the character a female LOL?
Because it does exactly what I want it to do. Like control use frame
Sheer Curry says,
background color.
because he wants to look at those tits.
This is also true. No resource. Hey, Shutter me. I have a question. So I'm trying to get the background color of text to speech to be black. Right now it's set, I think it's clear 000. What's black though in red, red, green, blue, I guess A alpha or whatever that is. RGBA is 000, 4 zeros. I bet you I could change it to something. One
Shurikitten says,
at the end.
try hashtag 0A0A0A.
Give me a second. Let me try one thing here. I looked it up and it says to put a 1 on the last one. Did that do it? Damn it. All right, say something. Maybe it just needs to recalibrate.
Sheer Curry says,
Hey, it works.
looks great.
There you go.
Shurikitten says,
That's it. It did it.
OMG, the text is gone, LOL.
Oh my gosh, it's back.
Sheer Curry says,
That's smart.
oh, it works.
It does work.
Shurikitten says, there we go. Awesome.
So cool. Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Sheer Curry says,
oh my gosh.
OMG, it's back, unlike my will to live.
Your will to live will not return. Trust me, I know this from first-hand experience. First-hand. Not second-hand. First.
Sheer Curry says,
First.
can't have something return you never had.
At one point I did have it. When I was naive. Naive? Naive? Naive?
Sheer Curry says, I hanged myself during birth.
Yeah, you... With the umbilical cord?
Sheer Curry says, that's when I had enough already. Shurikitten says, does edge quality ever come up in painting?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely it does. Sure.
Sheer Curry says, Jeff knows a lot about edges. Shurikitten says. I'm curious how it differs vs in digital art. I think it may have the same name but mean two different things. Sheer Curry says. The digital artwork by that lady was insane. Sheer Curry says. Yours too Shurimi, you're really awesome. Shurikitten says. What artwork? Sheer Curry says. With the lamb and lion. Shurikitten says. Thank you. Sheer Curry says. Sheep. Shurikitten says. I have inspired Lewith to paint Draenei. Not OCA says.
Oka!
Sub Peacock.
Damn you. So the battleground we were in on Saturday, everybody was like it was IOC, and when y'all stomped us up top, there was like 4 or 5 people were like, "This is a pre-made. We might as well quit. Everybody report them. It's a pre-made. It's a pre-made." And they were going on for the entirety of the entire time. I want to let you know that I fought bravely the whole time and got my ass kicked as usual every time I PvP. I still had a fun game. I had some good fights with people, and they were some really good players on the other team. I was surprised. I saw Nomadic. I didn't fight him.
Not
I saw
OCA
you up
says.
top, but I didn't see you.
That was 5-man only.
Yeah, that's like that's why I thought too, because they said it's pre-made, and I was like, it's not like I didn't recognize anybody except for like no, there's probably another guy up, like one or two others I might have recognized, but I didn't really take the time to look. But I didn't really see anybody. I saw you and Nomadic, so I mean, I told our team, I was like at the end I was like, guys, if you guys spent half the time complaining and more time playing, we would have had a better chance because everybody was just bitching the whole time. It was really annoying. Widens up some. There. I'm trying to do more just casual PvP recently. Just chill. Zerx hasn't been on just because he's been busy. So I've been just trying to do something. I don't know. Just play the game. That doesn't look right. No, but everybody always says it's a pre-made. If they lose the first fight and then they say it's a pre-made, it's a pre-made. And part of me doesn't blame them for thinking that way because there are a lot. But I mean, at the same time, everybody always immediately quits if they lose the first fight in any of these things, and it's really annoying. It's almost like it penalizes the people for staying at that point.
Sheer Curry says, have you ever played The Witcher?
I haven't. No, I haven't played a lot of games, to be honest with you. The only ones that I've played recently is Baldur's Gate 3, the Sophia's something or another, the Sane game. Um, I haven't been playing a lot of stuff other than that though.
Sheer Curry says, Diablo.
So that I literally log in, I play for 2 minutes, and then I just log back out because I just don't find it fun. Like I really am trying to like it, but I just don't. There's like no reason I can think to play that right now. I mean, I probably should. I just
Sheer Curry says, 2 minutes isn't trying pussy. Shrikitten says,
true.
like we were saying before the WoW chat, lol, that lady did a really nice painting of that lamb and lion. Yet I was happy to help her. Did you see I put Hank? Sheer Curry says, no, I didn't, lol. Hank works in every situation. Shrikitten says, I put the JPEG one, lol. Halloran Perry says,
Whew.
have you ever experimented with constructive anatomy techniques, or do you keep it strictly classical?
Um, like the Loomis method type of thing, where it's like a lot of geometry. Um, I mean, I have before, not strictly the Loomis method, but I used to, for example, like if I'm just doodling in a sketchbook or something and I want to get like a head, this, a certain angle or something, I'm like, okay, here's the skull, like this, and then maybe the, you know, eyes kind of going across this way, the nose would be here, type of thing. And, I kind of do circles to kind of um, get it, but I don't know if that's like anything official. Um, but it's how I used to, like every once in a while I'll do that when I'm just like messing around or something. Um, so yeah, it's a good question. How do you draw? Do you have like a constructive way of drawing, or like what do you do? Like it's really, for me, it's like if you want to see a limb going that way, like if it's going off in space, you have like the shoulder here, but you want the arm going back. I could say, okay, the humerus is like kind of right here, coming down, then the forearm's here, and the hand would be here. But like maybe the chest is like here, maybe he's kind of bending forward, like his head's here, but he's looking up, and so this arm's kind of going back like that, and you have this here, and hip box, which is going to be back behind him and stuff, and then his legs, maybe his legs like less foreshortened, like his thigh like that, but his calf is like this. It's kind of coming back like this, and then his foot, something like that. So it's kind of, I don't know. That's how I would do it. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, and then from there I would kind of apply a lot of my anatomical knowledge over that to draw it, but that's just like I don't know where that came from.
Halloran Perry says. Yeah, starting from scratch is what constructive anatomy is really good for. Starting with abstracted volumes and filling in the details.
Yeah.
Loomis is one, Bridgman is another.
I'm not too familiar with Bridgman. Loomis, I am. Let me let me look Bridgman up really quick because I've like done more. It'll only take a second. I won't stick on this, but Bridgman um images. Bridgman. So he's like box method and stuff. Bridgman head construction guide. So it's like going in squares and then breaking it down. Yeah, I like all this stuff. Like this seems like it'd be very good for getting planes. Yeah. The nice thing about this is it kind of like forces you to know anatomy because it doesn't work unless you do. And so, like, I like doing drawings. Really, this is like this. I do. Um, I only do references of AI figures on here because I've had in the past models say they don't want their image up, even though they gave me permission before. So I kind of keep it simple and just do that. But the problem with AI right now still is that the anatomy is always off, so it's not a great way to learn. It's a good way to practice drawing and proportions, but it's not a great way for learning anatomy. But the best way to learn anatomy is to like have a figure, like a live model, or going off of reference images that are like, actual real people. And so in that manner, I enjoy studying like the anatomy. Like this would be,
Sheer
for
Curry
example,
says.
an anatomical
Our
study for
muscles
me.
are so complicated.
Yeah, they are.
Tried
And
to memorize them but failed.
but the Bridgman method, the Loomis method, those are good because it's like then you can get an anatomy book, you really study the anatomy, and then you can construct it using those methods, which is really cool. So yeah, I mean, we out of music? Why is this thing stopped? Oh, because I touched my earbud. Anyway,
Halloran Perry says. Your envelope is looking tight. I like it.
thank you.
Sheer Curry
Appreciate
says.
that.
I have a Bridgman book, it was so cheap.
I mean, I think all like honestly, practicing those methods, I should probably learn one of those methods when I have more time. Right now, I can't think about doing that, but um, I think all the stuff benefits your work. I think having said that, when you're first starting, you want to just focus on one thing, whatever it is, because otherwise you confuse yourself. That's what I think. And then go from there. Go from there afterwards after you've mastered one of them. I think you'll absorb it better. But yeah, this it's all of it's great. All of it's great. But with stuff like this, a lot of people make the mistake, including myself, this is how I know, is that you kind of just copy, copy, copy. You don't want to copy. You want to think about the structure of the anatomy and make it make sense. That's one of the things with a live model. You can go up to the live model, and I always encourage people to look at all sides of it so you understand what you're drawing. That'll come out in the work. So this is supposed to be a study. When I was doing a lot of figure drawings from a live model, I remember I was able to draw a live model out of my head, or draw a model out of my head, standing figure in different positions because I had done so many of them. So you start understanding that stuff. It's nice. Then I left school, didn't have a model on, kind of lost that ability over time. But you can get it back. You can definitely get it back. And again, that's why I was having trouble painting.
Windy City
And
1828
so
says, Lewis, I'm off to get my fish and chips, so catch you again.
all right, Windy City, I'll see you. Take care. Get some rest. Yeah, so
Windy City
I'm drawing to get it
1828
back in my
says,
head,
Shuri bye.
to get practice. That's what I'm doing. That's why we're doing this. Let's get the head in.
Shuri Kitten says, bye bye OMG, enjoy some fish and chips for me too. I love them. Sheer Curry says, you can learn drawing from imagination. That kills.
Choose to win.
Shuri Kitten says, that's what I do and I get yelled at, LOL.
Oh, Shutter Mia, it's one thing you gotta, um, you're not going off of any reference, and you don't have
Sheer Curry
currently don't have
says,
enough knowledge to do
both
that. You have
together
to
is great.
study. You have to study that stuff. That's why I'm saying
Halloran
the
Perry
Loomis
says,
method is
if you
great.
already know anatomy, Bridgman is a great way to abstract it into plane changes. All the constructive methods are great for keeping the figure internally consistent with itself.
Yeah, it's but you have to have a knowledge of what you're doing.
Shuri
You
Kitten
can't just
says,
make stuff up.
I'm not a noob though. I've done it 18 years,
It doesn't
LOL.
it doesn't matter if you've done it for 30 years. You don't have enough knowledge to yet to do that. I'm saying you have to study drawing in proportion so you can see these things. And once you do, you'll be able to make this stuff up. But I mean, the reason why I know is that you always get it to a point, but you're extremely talented. And if you had a reference and you were focused and really spending time on that reference and going in deep with it, and you would it would start looking like that, and you would be learning from it, and you would be you know weeding out your proportional mistakes, right? Do you remember when I we had that stream where um I sat down and started refining your arm and all that stuff? I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. It matters how you've been practicing with it, and that's it. I'm not trying to come down on you, but if you want to get better, you have to learn drawing and get the anatomy, you know. Mainly it's the drawing. You have to practice your drawing. And I've told you how to do that, you know. Look, I'm
Shurikitten
doing it right
says,
now. I
well,
I
it's
need
as if
practice.
you don't think I have a visual library. Which isn't true.
I never said you don't have a visual library, but you need to learn how to draw. I mean, you can't currently, you're not able to look, even okay, even people who like Ruan Jia and those guys, they take references. They have a lot of references and they go off them. Like the main thing is you always go off references, get like a lot of different references to say, okay, this is how this works, this is how that works. You could put something in a certain position. I'm not saying you can't move it around, but like you're going with no references at all. And you can't do that. You have to have something. And I get in trouble with this too. Like when my goal is vague, I go nowhere with it. And I have a lot of experience that I've made things look very good before, and then other times I make them look horrible because I don't have enough reference behind what I'm doing. It's just how it is. I'm not saying that you don't have any knowledge and you suck. I'm just saying that you need practice with your drawing. It is. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. A lot of people have been doing this for a very long time. It's very difficult. But I mean, you know, and you don't have to do it, and maybe there's somebody who can help you more with it. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I know what you're trying to do, and what's holding you back is that you don't have
Sheer Curry
references right
says,
now. Yeah.
everyone needs practice forever.
Well, I mean, look at me. Look, this thing's totally inaccurate, and I am doing this right now because of how bad I've been sucking in painting. I am, and I have a reference for it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I can make this up and do this stuff. And I have a lot of experience drawing models. It wouldn't help me. Not at this point. Like, I'm doing studies and I'm trying to shake myself out of I mean, for various reasons, but it's a study. And this is my point. Whenever I need to do better at painting, I go back to figure drawing,
Sheer Curry says,
you know?
Sargent scraped away his paintings a lot to get stuff right.
Yeah. But I'm not saying you're bad. Not at all. Don't take that, you know? Like, if I thought you were just horrible and that you didn't have any talent or whatever, I mean, I don't think I'd be pushing you as hard as I am. But I mean, like, if you say that it seems like you don't want to do the pencil drawings or whatever, and we can do them on, digital. But I mean,
Shurikitten says,
you know,
I think it's a different construction method. I don't know the name for it, but I'm sure there is some name for the shape memory. Sort of like what they do for comics, anime, manga, etc.
yeah, but like, look, you can do that. If that's what I'm not, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you the same thing. But if you don't want to do it, that's okay. Um, I'm not saying that there's no method. I'm saying like Loomis method. Look, Loomis method, the Bridgman, like from what I've seen, it's a method of construction. But how can you 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 need to have a lot of anatomical knowledge and experience, and a lot of that has to do with looking at references and studying models and figures. That's what it is doing the studies. All right. I have a lot of anatomical knowledge and experience too, but I use references to get my head in the game and do those things. And when I do several studies, then I can go through like immediately and I'll have it fresh in my brain to make stuff up. And the more you make stuff up, the better you get at it, sure. But Like, you can't just go in raw and try to make stuff up. Like, you're getting it to a certain point and you can't get past it, you know? And so when I look at it, I see all these proportional mistakes with it. A lot of things that are 101 basic that you would
Shrikitten
fix
says,
in
I've
pencil
done it.
drawings.
Just not your way. But I don't discredit what adding another method like yours can do.
Then it needs to be done. It's like, that's my point. Like, I'll say, do the pencil drawings, get the pencil drawings done. But, you know, very few people ever do the pencil drawings. They do one or two and say, well, I've tried it, it doesn't work. I mean, it's very hard to do and it takes time. You know, I'm like, y'all know this. I'm not on YouTube saying, guys, this one trick changed everything. Like, it's hard work. It takes a lot of time. And that's what this is. Like, pencil drawing, this sucks what I'm doing right now. It does. Like, it's not good. But, you know, I do them repeatedly and sometimes I do them okay, sometimes I don't. You know, but it takes a lot of time and practice and it takes a lot of repetition. This is how it is. I didn't just do one or two and be like, okay, I got it. You know, that's not how it is. Like, you have to, I'm not trying to discredit other ways of doing it, but whatever way you do, you're going to need to have some sort of reference and study the reference and like have it by it. Even if you're not like, I'm not saying copy the reference into it. That's not what I'm saying.
Shrikitten says, thing is though, you never make anything from imagination. Isn't that kind of lonely?
Look, right now I don't have time to even do the commissions that I have to do. I have 5 fucking hours to work and that's it. And half the time I can't. It's not even 5, it's probably 4. And, you know, in the past I did more imagination stuff. I don't know what to say. I
G.E.
mean,
Whitman says, LOL giving Lewis so much grief.
no, she's not giving me grief. I'm
Sheer
just
Curry
irritable.
says, you're doing great.
I I I am a little frustrated because
Shrikitten says,
I feel like I'm
I'm
always
not
saying the
trying to give him
same
grief.
thing. Like, and I'm frustrated at myself because I can't articulate what I'm trying to say. And I hate it when I get this way. I understand. I'm not saying okay, I'm going to write this down. Okay. All right. No, I'm not
Halloran
going to write
Perry
it down.
says,
There are other ways of
man,
doing.
I'm sorry you're going through it. It sucks.
Okay.
Not OCA says, when you going to draw my peacock?
There are other ways of doing things. I'm not saying you have to do pencil drawings. I'm not saying this. This is how I teach because it's how I know to teach. But I am telling you right now, like, I have made stuff up before. Like, it's not like I do. I just like, I'm not streaming that type of stuff and I haven't done it recently, but I have a lot of experience. I used to make stuff up all the time. All the time. You know, even after the academy, but I don't have time to do anything that like that right now. I have to be doing commissions, and this is to get my head back in the practice so I can do the swamp thing. It's all strategic. All right.
G.E. Whitman says, one time I asked Lewis to draw a face straight on with a pen, then he proceeded to draw a realistic face from imagination with a big pen in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, like, my point is this, is that the way those guys work, like with different constructions, making things up, there's nothing, it's good to make things up. But like, if you're saying like, say you're making like a succubus or something, it's like, you know, or even a Draenei, like you could do this with this. It's the base of it is female anatomy that has certain rules, and you have to see how the light falls across it. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult just to make it up when you don't have enough experience in making shadows up. Like, you have, like, if you're wanting a certain look, it's important to go and do studies beforehand of it. Then you can go and like And when I say studies, like find several different examples of references in different shadow shapes and find the anatomy that you want and do sketches of it. And then like you're able to kind of put all those things together and you can make things up, you can exaggerate things here. And that's how a lot of these guys work, like who go off imagination. And what they come up with is something totally original, but it has to do with all the studies that they've done. And they have like lighting studies, they have a clear direction in everything that they're going for. Like, and when you do this over and over again, and you're constantly studying these references and you're in practice, you're more likely to go in and to, be able to just make these things up just like that. That's my point, you know? But if you're getting stuck where it's like everything's out of proportion, it's very vague, you're going to have a hard time there. And so at that point, that's the time to go back and do the studies, just like I did. Look what I did here. Look, let me show you this. This is a piece of shit. This is horrible. Okay, 1 second. This is horrible right here. It is. Whoops, here. This is very vague. It doesn't have any direction to it. I have done a lot of landscapes before. I could probably make a lot of this stuff up, but it's going to look made up. I'm not being precise in my work. I'm not being decisive in it. And so what I'm doing is that I'm going back doing this thing right here because I need to rediscipline my mind to be able to draw with and paint in the technique that I need. That's why I'm doing this. At the same time, it's just fun. Like I'm having a good time with it because it's something different. It's Draenei. It's, you know, I saw you doing it in Discord and I said, you know what? Be really cool. Right? So that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying, oh, well, you need to be going through and doing pencil drawings. If you don't want to, you don't need to, but you need to have a reference, like you need to be studying references and getting like have a direction where you're going to go because in your work right now it's just very it's vague and it's the anatomy's not there and the proportions are off, right? And so naturally the way that I'm going to help you with proportions is like, I would teach you via this method. It's a very solid method in learning how to see proportions, widths, comparative measurements, all these things, like understanding the structure, the form. And so that's why I try to promote this stuff. And that's why I'm doing it. I'm not saying that you need to copy and paste it into your work, right? The reason why I'm getting a little frustrated, and it's not at you, it's at myself, because I don't think I'm articulating this that well, and I'm extremely tired right now because I'm in a bad mood. I just am. I'm frustrated because I feel like I explain this and I can't get that point across. Like it's almost like I'm just, you know, I feel like I'm saying the same thing, and everybody just is taking away. Oh well, you just copy a reference and that's it. It's unoriginal, and it drives me crazy. And so I don't know how to combat that. I'm not mad at you shooting me. I don't think I'm articulating this that well. Like that's not why I'm doing this right now. And if people don't want to do it, they don't need to. But it's not going to help anybody just to do one or two of these things. Say, well, it doesn't work. It's not my thing.
Shurikitten
You
says,
know.
I'm not trying to upset you either.
I know you're not trying to upset me. I told you I'm in a bad mood. It has nothing to do with you. Again, I'm doing this to sharpen myself so I'm able to do that stuff and to get my head in the game with it. And then specifically with that painting, I'm going to go in and study more landscapes and this and that and get a fresher idea of what I need to do since I don't have just a one out reference photo to because ideally, see, I'm trying to do something that you would accomplish in plein air. And I can't do that with my limited knowledge of it, right? And how many times have I done landscapes? I've done a lot, but that doesn't mean that I can just make up anything that I want. Like sometimes you do a really awesome painting and then you do a shitty painting afterwards. It's because you have to prep your brain. You have to do this, you have to study it. Each project's different. I mean, and like I said, there's different ways of doing things. If you want to use a different method, it's a viable method, good. Do it and stick with it. But it's not going to magically make you able to make it look absolutely like you want it to unless you get some studies down with it. Like I said, Loomis method, do the construction and all that stuff, and it'll get you in the ballpark. But you're going to have to study anatomy, and for the lighting, you have to find some references for it to work, and you can put the structure, the Loomis structure behind it as well. You know, but you need to have stuff to study off of. Nobody can just make this up without having, they can't just, you don't just make it up without a lot of experience with that stuff and having already studied those references.
Sheer Curry says. Sheree, you could use yourself as reference.
Yeah, you would be a really good model for it, honestly.
Sheree Kitten says. I do is the thing. Sheer
Then,
Curry says. Do you take pics of yourself?
Shuttermia, you need to improve your drawing. That's it. However you want to do it, but you have to improve the drawing. You need to become more accurate and to be able to see anatomy. And you can't take that as me trying to insult you and say you suck. You don't. But like I know what you're trying to do and you're not going to be able to do it until you get better at drawing, you know? And that's coming from somebody who sucks right now. Like this is not looking good for what I've done before. Like, you have the potential to do it. It's just you just have to do it. And I'll help you, like I've offered anybody who does this stuff, I offered help. And I'll be the first to admit it's extremely hard and it's extremely frustrating at times. You know, it is. But one of my struggles is is trying to convince people how important pencil drawings are. These types of pencil drawings are to anything like landscape. I'm trying to do a landscape painting, and yet I'm doing figure drawing right now to get in practice with it because it works. I'm just, I'm trying to get everybody to understand the importance of
Sheer Curry
like how
says.
important it is for
You
figure
can't
drawing.
convince people. They need to have that passion.
Well, I don't know if it has to do with passion, but I don't think I'm articulating this correctly or something. I don't know. Like what I'm doing right here for this, I am taking note of my weaknesses right now, which essentially I'm not seeing proportion correctly. I'm not
Sheer Curry
doing
says,
comparative measurements
if you
properly.
don't have passion, you're not gonna wanna do these boring ass drawings every day.
Yeah, but if you have the under, if you are convinced that it's something that will help in what you want to do, I think it'll help people become passionate about it. Like I always did still lives. I didn't like them, but I did them because I understood the benefit it would have to my painting, and eventually I came to enjoy them more than I did. But it's the teacher's job to be able to like, articulate these things. And like right now, again, I'm trying to really compare all the points to each other, see the angles. Like this shape right here is wrong. This negative shape, and this leg is, I think, in fact, in the wrong position, to be honest with you. Like this point should be coming out a little bit more. It's it's these types of things. Like I'm just making
Sheer
these
Curry says,
mistakes, proportional
I,
mistakes, and all sorts of stuff. And fucking thing.
Sheer Curry says, I'm not talking about you Shuri BTW.
Anyway,
Shuri Kitten says, I know Curry. Shuri Kitten says, I don't know, I was just happy I actually finished something. I haven't been able to finish anything in quite a few years.
that Draenei was
So
pretty
I
good.
took that as a small win.
Oh, I think it definitely was. Look, I'm not coming down on you for that stuff. I'm not coming down on you in general. I'm really not. I don't think I'm making any sense on, I don't know. I just don't think I'm doing a good job getting my point across today.
Halloran Perry says, let me try, anime is a style based on reality. The more you study reality, the richer your anime drawings can be.
That's it.
Halloran Perry says, or whatever style you're into.
Like it doesn't need, I'm not just saying it because I'm doing a reference photo right now. Because it doesn't matter. Like, I go off all sorts of stuff, but I mean, and I'm drawing it in a certain manner. But even if I was doing this based off Loomis method, like it's a study, I'm trying to get that information in my head, you know? But again, with Loomis method, you need to be able to see proportions. You still like you need to make measurements and stuff. But also, here's another thing. Loomis method is great. It's like generic construction. I'm sure it's probably more in depth than that, but if you look at somebody, their face isn't totally symmetrical. And if you look at them, sometimes their mouths are going at one direction, nose is like this, and the eyes are like this. It is how it is. And so these are like observations you need to be able to see. And just being able to see widths, right? Compare the widths to the lengths. These are just basic things. It's just training your eye. So however you do that, like it needs to be done. And that's drawing. You know, you can construct all day long with whatever method you want, but you need to be able to see it. And then you need to be able to have the, you know, like understand line quality and how to make a line and how to develop form in subtle places, like, and what that means. And I'll give you an example, like along the side of her body or something. It's not about just copying those squiggly marks. It's about understanding what they are, being able to see like the breaking points and the subtle angles, but understanding how that ties into the anatomy three-dimensionally is drawing, right? But like that's not something that I can't even make that stuff up right now, you know. Now you can take like 5 references and study them and then kind of come up with in a different position and make it work. Like that's viable. And I think that's what a lot of these concept artists do, you know. And you can always make it up to a certain point, but to get it to the level of finish that most people want with like beautiful lighting and this and that, that requires, again, study and references.
Shrikitten says. In a perfect world you get reference of whatever pose you want, whatever light you want, etc. It will take gathering tons of refs. And you can't have the final work look like the photograph legally. Halloran Perry says. Yeah, you can, if you take the photo.
And that's the thing. It's like the setup is the most
Sheer
important.
Curry
Here's the thing.
says. That's why you should take your own pics.
The setup is the most important thing. All right. In a work. Like
Shrikitten
setting up,
says.
preparation of
Only
light,
then.
all these things, right? And that's why I'm saying use those other things to study. Like use them to study off of. If you want, like you use yourself as the base or the model or whatever, but like setting up, which is planning your light, your color, the position, it's going to be in that anatomy, what type of where you want the tension to be. This is like preparation for each piece. And I would argue, like, I think a lot of people make this mistake when they're doing things from their mind. They prepare less because they say, well, I'm just going to make it up. But then it looks made up. But then they're not happy with how it looks because it looks made up. And, you know, you need to do more work at that point. If you're going to make something up, you need to be doing way more work, all right, than just simply having a reference and just copying it, all right? It's extremely in depth. You have to have a direction. In any piece of art you do, if you don't have a direction, it's going to show in the work, all right? And it's going to be held back by how well you can draw. Drawing is the most important thing that an artist can have, all right? And then I would say painting, because drawing affects painting. You know, there's drawing in painting. It's where to put the brush stroke. It's not just about coloring things in. Drawing has to do with values, lights and darks, creating the sense of unified light that builds the anatomy and the structure. You have to have form in your work. Like these are very high end things that need to be studied and planned out in a work. And so I was always taught, like, And look, academic, they get a lot of crap for being unoriginal. I get it. Fine. Say whatever it is, but then take this stuff that's good. And one of the things that I think is good is, which first off, I think that people saying that stuff don't know what they're talking about, number one. But that aside, like the preparation that it takes to do these things, that's one of the things they taught us. You have to prepare and you have to have like an idea of where you're going with this stuff. And you might achieve it, you might not, you know. But you're gonna have a better chance of achieving it if you have this stuff planned out, you know. I mean, you know, Leonardo da Vinci said you have to be humble to nature, you know. I'm pretty sure he said it. One of those guys said it, you know, and just like really looking, studying, understanding nature and learning from it, you know. I'm not like you're not supposed to just simply copy like a copying machine, you know. Like what I'm doing, I'm studying. I'm trying to study this stuff, you know. Like really trying to learn and study and think about what I'm doing. And I'm thinking too of how I'm going to apply it in that swamp painting. I am. You know, this is how I go about it. This is what I do. You know, that's one of the strategies I'm using right now because I can't go out right now. I can't go down to Louisiana and get in one of those those boats. You know, I don't know what you call them with the fans, and just sit out there and do a landscape painting. I can't do that to get this work. You know, but I mean, if it helps, I can articulate what I'm doing here and what I'm doing wrong and stuff with it.
Sheer
And,
Curry says,
you know,
the Gators will get Yat.
yeah, I mean, it's dangerous as shit, I would think. Um, but like I'm really drawing quite poorly right now with this stuff. Like up here, like this is horrible. All of it is. It's really bad. You might think, oh, you're getting down on
Halloran Perry
yourself.
says,
No,
I
this is how
mean,
it is.
you're also doing a lot right. Keep your chin up.
Thank you, Hal. I'm not the only thing I'm coming down on myself is not being able to articulate what I want to with Shuri Mia because it's a conversation I've had with her so many times and I don't think that I'm articulating it right. And I'm frustrated with myself. With that, I am. But with this, I'm not frustrated. I'm not. Like this is the point of these drawings is to root out your weakness and show it to you, and you have to just fix it. That's what it is. That's why I'm doing these things. I went into this knowing that that's what it would be, right? So I'm getting what I wanted. You know, this is what makes you better. It is. So like I'm fine with this sucking because it's like, all right, well, I'll make it better. Like I know how to do that. This thing comes in some. So this stuff.
Shurikitten says,
Hmm.
I said I would do them. I don't know why this conversation is still going on. Sheer Curry says, I always think when I suck I feel like it's a good thing because it means I can see my mistakes. Share Curry says. You could tag Lau on X when you're done with this.
Hmm.
Halloran Perry says. Screw it, I'm bored and stuck on the couch. I will take a crack at this ref. Misery loves company and all that. Share Curry
Hmm.
says. That could be good publicity. Shrikitten says. I think you thrive off beating yourself up to do a lot of things. And in your situation I think it makes sense. But I don't think I'm someone that can learn like that.
Learn like what now? Like specifically, what are you talking about? I'm not saying to beat yourself up.
Shrikitten says. You're pretty hard on yourself. You do these practices saying you suck and everything. I don't want to drag myself to practice and yell at me that I suck. I'm too pessimistic of a person, it wouldn't be okay.
I know I'm saying a bad example right now, but I'm not saying to do that. I'm trying I'm trying to encourage you, Shuttermia. Like, because the thing is, I think you take that when I say you need to get better at drawing, you can't just make it up out of your head right now and expect to get what you want, because what you want is something that's solid. Like, I know what you're going for. You showed me images of stuff, the direction we want to go in. And however it is you want to practice that, I like you need to do studies for and have like a goal and like all these things like the setup. You have to have that. I I in saying that I suck, I'm trying to tell you that like I'm using this right now to weed out the things that are wrong so that I get better and then I fix these things. I'm not coming down on myself. Like I'm not beating myself down. I'm not. Like I am just saying like I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. All right. Now this is how we fix it. That's this method of how to go about drawing. In anything that you do in the Loomis method, you're going to do the same thing. You'll construct it the way that you do, but then you have to look at it, comparative measurements, do whatever measurements it takes, but you're going to look at it and say, this is wrong, this is wrong. I need to fix this, I need to fix that. That's my point. Like, this is a way to train your eye to see things. And, I look at the benefit of what you're getting out of it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I understand it's not inspiring to hear an artist say, oh, this sucks, I suck. I get that. Okay. But I'm not saying that that's what you need to be doing. Like, I'm saying this this is a way, like, I know what you want to do, and if you want to get good at it, you do pencil drawings and pencil studies. That's what I'm saying. You have to do the drawings. Now, if you want to do it in some other method, fine. If you want to do it in this method, I'll help you. But it needs to be repetition, so then that's going to get you better at drawing, and you'll be able to see those proportions. So when you do make something up, you'll be able to get the proportions much better, number one. But then number two, you'll need to have references, ideas, and this and that, and you can change them as you go along, but you need to have an idea for the lighting. And if you do, you're going to be able to make this stuff up and to move things around and have an original piece. It's going to look made up. You can do all sorts of
Shurikitten
stuff with it.
says, I know I have trouble
Yeah.
drawing, but I just finished a piece. I don't instantly need to be down on myself about needing to study, get refs etc. I do have the Loomis books and a lot of other things.
I'm not saying you should be. This conversation started because we started talking about imagination and this and that, and so I was trying to tie it in with this stuff. But I'm not.
Shurikitten says, but currently you're on me about this right after I finished something. So it comes off as I should be.
But I didn't even put that together. Let me. Okay, 1 second. Because that's not why I'm saying this to you. I'm not saying it because you finished that and I'm saying, oh, that sucks and this is what you need. That's not it. How did we start with this?
Halloran Perry says, I apologize for bringing up Loomis.
No,
Shurikitten
there's nothing
says,
wrong with.
anytime imagination comes up I get this speech. No one else here draws from imagination. They can suck it. Shurikitten says, even if it sucks it's still mine.
I'm not. Shuttermia,
Sheer
I'm
Curry
not saying you
says,
suck.
I draw from imagination lol.
I never said you suck. I wasn't even. This is one of those days that everything I say is just wrong. I'm not saying you suck. We were talking about construction methods. Like Hal was talking about construction methods, and I was trying to tie it in. We are talking about how you can and can't learn, and then it was mentioned that, like, you know, about going from imagination, you can learn with that. And then I think I mentioned something like, you know, it's important to have references for that because you
Shurikitten
can't just
says,
make this stuff up.
I'm not saying you're saying that. But people ganged up on me about it after. And said I
Where?
caused you grief.
No, I'm not. No, look, I'm just in a bad mood today. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just having a hard time articulating this stuff because, like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But I liked your Draenei drawing. In fact, I'm doing a Draenei right now. Like, I like your work, and I wouldn't be spending time with you if I didn't think that you weren't serious about any of this stuff. You know,
Shurikitten
I
says,
mean,
it's not about your articulation. It's about focusing on one person. The chat will gang up on them. It's part of streaming.
I don't know. I don't know what to say right now. I don't know. I don't know. I
Sheer Curry says, maybe we should change the subject.
what time is it? For um
Sheer Curry says, you need energy for the drawing class.
look, I'm gonna end the stream because I'm pissing myself off. It's my fault. I just I don't know. I can't think straight right now. I'll stream again maybe tomorrow or next week or something. Shouldn't mean I'm not coming down on you. I'm not trying to come down on you. I can't articulate things and everything is coming off like I am, and so I'm a little frustrated. So I don't know, but anyway.